The president of Iran publicly apologized today to the Persian Gulf monarchies for the strikes by Iranian drones and missiles on their cities, but the argument was simply devastating. President of Iran, Masoud Pezeshkian, stated that the militants of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps allegedly made the decision to carry out the attacks themselves due to the lack of proper command, and in Tehran they simply knew nothing about it. Well, just an hour after such a public apology, Iran attacked the airport in Dubai again. And right after that, the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, announced the US victory in this war and added that Iran not only apologized for the strikes but, quote, surrendered to its neighbors in the Middle East. This is the first time in thousands of years that Iran has lost to the surrounding countries of the Middle East, and after that, Trump announced that Iran has already been defeated, although he later added that in the coming hours the US is preparing an even larger attack on Iran, and Trump is even considering a ground invasion of Iran. My name is Alexei Pechi, let's discuss this topic together. But before we start, I ask you to subscribe to this channel, like this episode, and leave any comment under this video so that YouTube's algorithms will recommend this episode to as many viewers as possible. And please subscribe to my Telegram channel, Pechi News. The link is in the description of this video. There we publish breaking news as it comes in. So, Iran officially apologized today for attacks on neighboring Arab countries. However, it did so in a rather strange manner. Tehran will stop attacking neighboring countries if they do not strike Iran. This statement was made by the president of Iran, Pezeshkian, who became one of the 3 members of the country's interim leadership council after the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Pezeshkian apologized to the Persian Gulf countries, which Tehran has been striking with missiles and drones for a week, and called these countries brotherly. Here is a quote from Pezeshkian. I personally apologize to the neighboring countries that were attacked by Iran. We do not intend to attack neighboring countries. As I have repeatedly said, they are our brothers. The Interim Council has informed the country's armed forces that from now on there should be no attacks on neighboring countries or missile strikes unless we are attacked from the territory of those countries. Of course, that sounds good. But then Pezeshkian said some nonsense and basically admitted that the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has been seriously weakened. And in fact, its command seems to have been decapitated. The president of Iran explained that the Iranian Armed Forces units and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps supposedly acted on their own initiative. He said that Iran's command had been destroyed, so the officers on the ground were launching missiles and drones at their own discretion. Now, supposedly this will not happen again. And you know, I have to say that for Iran, this kind of lying has already become habitual. Let me remind you, in January 2020, the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps shot down a Ukrainian passenger plane. And back then in Tehran, they claimed in exactly the same way that it was supposedly a mistake. And, supposedly, the air defense soldiers on the ground, without any order from above, activated the air defense system on their own and shot down the Ukrainian plane. Which sounds strange, but now, almost 6 years later, in Iran and in Tehran, they are repeating exactly the same thing. That, supposedly, oh, the leadership didn't know that the soldiers, it turns out, were attacking neighboring Arab countries. And today, just an hour after Pezeshkian apologized for the attacks on the Persian Gulf monarchies, the operation of Dubai International Airport was urgently suspended due to an attack by an Iranian drone. There was even a video of the drone attack, so at the very moment when Pezeshkian was making this statement publicly, the Iranians were launching a drone at Dubai. Moreover, despite the order given to Iranian troops not to attack the Arab countries of the region, which Pezeshkian announced, Tehran launched drones and missiles at Qatar and Bahrain in the morning. In addition, Saudi Arabia intercepted drones in the Rub al-Khali desert that were heading toward the major Sheba oil field. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps announced strikes on a satellite communication center, an early warning and fire control radar, as well as an air operations control center at the Al Dhafra air base in the United Arab Emirates. In addition, the president of Iran stated that Washington's demand for unconditional surrender is, quote, a dream they will have to take to their grave. Let me remind you, the day before, US President Donald Trump stated that there would be no deal with Tehran and that the Iranian authorities must surrender. And as soon as that happens, a new ruler will be found in the Islamic Republic, Trump stated. Later, in a conversation with Axios, Trump clarified that Iran's surrender could happen informally, quote, when they can no longer fight because they will have no one and nothing left to fight with. Well, after Pezeshkian's statement, Donald Trump also spoke. He was quick to declare that Iran had lost the war, which is why they were forced to apologize, but he immediately added that the US is preparing a new powerful attack. The US will strike new regions in Iran and specific groups that have not previously been attacked by America and Israel, said President Donald Trump. And now I'll quote him further. Today, a very powerful strike will be delivered against Iran. Because of Iran's bad behavior, the option of complete destruction and inevitable demise of those regions and groups of people that were not previously considered targets is now being seriously considered. The American-Israeli campaign of strikes will continue until they surrender or, more likely, completely collapse. Iran, which is now being utterly crushed, has apologized and surrendered to its Middle Eastern neighbors, promising not to shoot at them anymore. This promise was made only because of the relentless attacks by the US and Israel. They sought to capture and subjugate the Middle East. After the attacks by the US and Israel, Iran stopped being the bully of the Middle East and turned into the loser of the Middle East. It's also interesting that Trump stated that for him, it's not actually necessary for Iran to become a democracy after the military operation is over. The main thing is that the new leader of Iran should be loyal to Washington and Israel. As an example, he mentioned Venezuela, where Delcy Rodriguez, who replaced Nicolas Maduro, agreed to fully cooperate with the Americans. And friends, Trump made this statement today, March 7th, but back on March 4th on this YouTube channel. In my project Conspiracy Theories, I was just thinking about what the main goal of Donald Trump is in this war against Iran. And even then, I said that Trump is not really a fierce supporter of democracy, and that for him the main thing is a change in the regime's behavior, not the overthrow of the entire regime. So, if you happen to miss that episode about Donald Trump's goals in this war, I recommend you watch it. And here it should be noted that the United States of America has already announced a powerful attack on Iran in the coming hours. The US and Britain are sending 2 more aircraft carriers to the region, and Trump is considering a ground invasion of Iran. But we'll talk about all this in more detail. Уже в одном из следующих выпусков. I'll leave it at that. Share your opinions and conclusions in the comments below this episode. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and don't forget to like. If you found this episode interesting and useful, you can support the work of this YouTube channel financially, either through your donation or a paid sponsorship subscription using the links and details in the description of this video or by scanning the QR code on your screen. I would appreciate any support. That's all for now. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye, everyone.